Most people think the Bible is a collection of 66 different books. They are wrong. It is one story, one continuous, blood-stained narrative about a God who refuses to give up on his people. Think of it like a 5-act play. Act 1, the tragedy in the garden. Act 2, the promise to a wanderer. Act 3, the fire on the mountain. Act 4, the rise and fall of kings. And Act 5, the age of grace. But here is the secret. There is a hidden contract, a covenant, locked inside each of these ages. If you don't understand how the contract changed from Abraham to David and from David to Jesus, you cannot understand where you stand with God today. Did God change his mind? Did the plan fail? Or has there been a master plan hidden in silent sight since the very first page? Let's trace the thread. It begins in the age of innocence, Eden. This wasn't just a garden, it was a temple, the meeting place of heaven and earth. In this first age, the relationship was direct. No priests, no temples, no barriers. Here, God established the first agreement, the Adamic covenant. It was simple. Humanity was given a crown. We were the vice-regents of creation, commanded to expand the order of the garden into the chaos of the outer world. There was only one restriction, one rule to prove that while we were kings, we were not the king. Of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. But we know the story. We didn't just break a rule, we broke the reality. Adam and Eve chose to define good and evil on their own terms. In an instant, the age of innocence shattered. The connection was severed. Death entered the biological code of the universe. By all legal rights, the story should end here. The covenant was broken. The penalty was death. But right there, amidst the wreckage, God whispered the first secret of the master plan. He promised that the seed of the woman would one day crush the head of the serpent. The Adamic covenant ended in failure, but it launched a rescue mission. The seed is coming. But who is he, and where will he come from?
Centuries of silence pass. Humanity scatters. The knowledge of the one true God fades into the noise of 1,000 idols. The lens of history zooms in, from the whole world down to one old man in the desert, Abraham. This begins the second age, the Patriarchs. God does something radical here. He stops dealing with humanity in general and starts building a specific family. Why? So that through this family, he can save humanity. Here, God signs the Abrahamic covenant, and unlike Eden, this contract is shockingly unconditional. God doesn't say, "If you obey, I will bless you." He says, "I will bless you. I will make your name great. I will give you this land." It is a covenant of promise containing 3 pillars: land, seed, and blessing. He promised that through Abraham, all families of the earth would be blessed. The Scarlet Thread is now weaving through a specific bloodline, from Abraham to Isaac, from Isaac to Jacob, from Jacob to the 12 tribes. But this age is defined by struggle. The seed is constantly under attack, famine, barrenness, and family betrayal. It ends with a massive cliffhanger. The family of promise is not in the land of promise. They are enslaved in the mud pits of Egypt. The plan looks dead. 400 years of slavery. Where is the God of Abraham now? The silence breaks with a roar. God remembers his covenant. He raises up Moses, crushes the gods of Egypt, and leads his people to the foot of Mount Sinai. Here, the third age begins, the prophets and the law. But notice the shift. At Sinai, God introduces a new contract, the Mosaic covenant. If the Abrahamic covenant was about grace, this one is about holiness. The wording changes. It goes back to the conditional format. If you obey my voice, then you shall be my treasured possession. God gives them the law, 613 commands covering everything from murder to diet. He gives them the tabernacle, a mobile temple where his presence can dwell. But there is a catch. The law reveals a fatal flaw. The law demands perfection, but the people are broken. The tabernacle requires purity, but the people are polluted. So God institutes the sacrificial system. The blood of bulls and goats becomes a temporary cover for their sin. It was a credit card payment, pushing the debt forward, waiting for someone to actually pay the bill. This is why the prophets rise up. They are the covenant lawyers. When Israel chases other gods, the prophets scream, "You are breaching the contract. The curses are coming." But even as they warn of judgment, the prophets start whispering about something else. Jeremiah speaks of a day when God will make a new covenant, one that doesn't just regulate behavior from the outside, but changes the heart from the inside. But the people aren't listening. They don't want a new heart. They want a king. God gives them what they ask for, but eventually he gives them what they need. Enter King David, the Age of Kingdoms. This is the golden era. Israel becomes a superpower. Solomon builds the temple. The glory of God moves from a tent to a palace. And here, God makes the fourth major agreement, the Davidic covenant. God promises David, "Your house and your kingdom shall endure forever. Your throne shall be established forever." Wait, forever? This creates a massive theological tension. The Mosaic covenant said, "If you sin, you lose the land." The Davidic covenant says, "There will always be a king." What happens when the kings sin? And they did sin, horribly. The kingdom splits, civil war ensues, the warnings of the prophets come true. Babylon rises, Jerusalem burns, the temple is destroyed, the people are dragged into exile. The line of David is cut down to a dead stump. The Age of Kingdoms ends in total ruin. For 400 years, absolute silence. No prophets, no miracles, just a conquered people waiting for a Messiah who seems late. Has the Scarlet Thread finally snapped? In the fullness of time, the silence didn't break with an Arnie, it broke with a baby. The fifth age, the church age. Jesus of Nazareth steps onto the scene, and he is the puzzle piece that connects every single age. He is the second Adam who obeyed where the first failed. He is the true seed of Abraham, through whom all nations are blessed. He is the prophet greater than Moses who fulfills the law. He is the king from the line of David, whose kingdom is eternal. At the Last Supper, he lifts the cup and says the words that rewrite history. "This cup is the new covenant in my blood." When he died, the penalty of the Mosaic law was paid. When he rose, the promise of the Davidic kingdom was secured. But here is the twist that shocked the world. The kingdom didn't come to overthrow Rome politically, it came to overthrow sin internally. On the day of Pentecost, the Spirit of God moved into a new temple, not one of stone, but one made of flesh, us. We are living in this age right now, the age where the Scarlet Thread is woven into the hearts of people from every tribe, tongue, and nation. The mystery is revealed. God's plan was never just to save Israel, it was to use Israel to save the world. So where does that leave us? The story isn't over. The Bible promises that this age, too, will end. The king is returning, not to deal with sin. He did that the first time, but to restore the kingdom fully, to turn the world into a global Eden. The question isn't whether the master plan is real. The history of 5 ages proves it is. The question is, which covenant are you standing under? Are you still trying to earn your way through the law, or have you accepted the cup of the new covenant? The thread is unbroken, the invitation is open. But have you ever wondered what exactly happened in those dark 400 years between the Old and New Testaments? The silent years that set the stage for everything? It wasn't as silent as you think. Click this video right here to uncover the history they didn't teach you in Sunday school.